next year. There's got to be one team that manages to keep the bloody thing for more than a week.
We are now live. Kia ora, everybody. Sean here with the best economist in the country, Cam Bagrie, and he's just told me he's now a Hawke's Bay supporter. So there we go. There we go.
I'm looking at the agenda in regard to what the next game I could go to. Thank God it didn't go down to the one in the weekend in Otago.
Yeah, true that. Okay, mate, let's get into it. Trans-Tasman sort of bubble announcement. Is this going to help your view on this?
Oh, look, good news in regard to economic freedom. You know, a bit of a signal that we've ticked all the right boxes, that sort of stuff. So we can go out. What's interesting is that they can't come in. Yeah, so there's still, because Australia's still got community transmission. Yeah, so if you look at this through a freedom lens, great stuff. Yeah, so you felt like you've been in hibernation for a while, you can now jump on a plane, you can go to Northern Territory, you go to New South Wales. The bad news is, as you come back, you're going to spend 14 days in hibernation. Right?
Yeah.
So the message here is if you go, you're not coming back for 3 to 6 months. So the risk here is that quite a lot of wealthy, affluent New Zealanders sort of think, well, I've always wanted to spend a bit of time over there, and I'm just going to go. And,
Would you do it?
Oh, I'm working, mate. So no, I've got 2 kids. But look, in all seriousness, if I was, this is where I think things could get really interesting. If they announced the same thing for Queensland.
Yeah, why?
Well, because Queensland would be like, you'd be off to the races. Right? Kiwis, we're in there en masse. And I think there's an awful lot of Kiwis that already got places up there in Queensland or up around Gold Coast, these sort of places. So you sit there and think about, and normally people use these places over winter, and they'll come back and they'll do the New Zealand summer. But the fact that they've done the Kiwi winter, they'll probably think, no, stuff it, I'm going to do the Australian summer. Yeah, so the risk here is in an economic sense. We actually see a little bit of economic leakage, where a bit of money that would be deployed into New Zealand is probably going to go overseas. Now, do we actually know how much that pie is at the moment? The answer is no. Right? But we were balancing freedom, which is a good thing, versus ultimately there will be a slight economic cost to this. How big it is, still early days.
Yeah. So do you reckon? I know this is a little bit off topic, but do you think Queenstown is still? How much are they down? Like, because it seems every bugger I know is going, oh yeah, we're going to Queenstown, or watch it on Facebook, and it's like, oh, here we are, we're in Queenstown. It seems like the whole country's going there. But would they still be 50% down? More.
We haven't got firm numbers on that. Some of the stuff with zero. We can't isolate Queenstown from economic data, and even if we did, it'd be pretty noisy. But if I sit back and think about the broad picture here for the tourism sector, the rubber hits the road for the tourism sector not over winter. That might be an issue for ski fields, but normally in winter, there's more New Zealanders travelling overseas than foreigners that are here. So the fact that we haven't travelled and people haven't come in is a net number. There's been more bums on seats. So what do you want to do? We go to Queenstown. The real issue is going to be the summer months. It's November all the way through. That's when we see that there's a massive excess of people coming in relative to Kiwis that are going out the other side. And you're talking 100,000 to 200,000 people a month, right? So I think that spending impetus is going to be massive over those months. And for the likes of Queenstown, it's those shoulder periods. Yeah, it's the end of the holidays. It's the second half of October. It's November. It's that pickup they get in November from the foreigners, which the Kiwis are not going to be there in November. End of December, January, Kiwis carry them through. February, the Chinese turn up. Well, the Chinese are not going to be turning up unless something miraculous happens, right? So it's all that shoulder stuff, which is really the issue. We're hearing a lot of good stories about the weekends. Bang, we're there. Yeah. Right? But Monday to Thursday, you got a problem.
Okay, how about car sales? So if I'm right, car sales are down. Is that new cars or used cars or both? Is the whole thing down?
Some of the stats we're starting to see in regard to new car sales tapered off quite a lot in September compared to what we saw in September 2019. And bearing in mind, a couple of things. Look, car sales surged, absolutely off to the races over July and August. And motor vehicles are what we call a durable good. So they're no different to housing, they're no different to whiteware, all these sort of the big ticket items. Now, what we're seeing at the moment is the anecdotes in regard to the property market are still pretty good. We've still got that sort of sugar rush.
Now, why does the property market still? Why is it still able to get growth and bubble along like this? Like, explain that to me.
There's a few things going on. Look, one, it entered into the lockdown with bloody good momentum, right? So when you get, people just wanted to buy. And now all of a sudden, you've got mortgage interest rates south of 3%.
Yeah, right.
Right, and if you look at the borrowing costs at the moment compared to the cost of renting, if you can scrape together the deposit, you're in like Flint.
Yeah.
Right, so you're leaning on the bank of mum and dad, and bank of mum and dad might not be travelling to Europe or Australia or Fiji or these sort of other places, so they might throw you in 10 to 20,000. You might not be going on your OE experience. You decided we're going to stick at home for another couple of years. So you just want to. It's actually physically now cheaper, I think, in most districts around New Zealand, to actually pay a mortgage as opposed to rent. Now, you've got a whole of other costs that you need to sort of absorb into the equation as well in regards to insurance, rates, water, these sort of things as well. So, and time, maintenance of the property, these sort of things. But the economics have fundamentally shifted. But what's interesting, if I step back and look at motor vehicle sales as an indicator, like motor vehicle sales and house sales normally go together.
Do they?
Yep. Because they're a durable good, right? So they're what's called interest rate sensitive. So if you want to prod the economy along, you cut interest rates, and the durable goods or items or anything, high ticket, motor vehicles, furniture, that sort of stuff, goes flying out the door, including the houses. Now, what we started to see in the past sort of month is that some of the high ticket stuff is still going pretty well, which is like the ultimate high ticket, like the house, because of the big capital money involved. But some of the other stuff, such as the motor vehicles, you had the sugar rush, but now you're starting to come back down, which it gives me the sense. It's almost like we're at a bit of a inflection point, and there's this big debate at the moment in regard to was the sugar rush going to continue? In my view, all along was not going to continue. Right, the housing market's probably got a little bit more legs than other parts, purely because of the economics of renting versus buying. It's still going to see that sort of thing get milked for a little bit longer. But ultimately, you see people getting unemployed, you're going to find it harder to get credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And talking of that, job seeker numbers are up.
Yeah, they're up. But look, let's put a glass full spin on what's sort of going on. So if you go back and have a look at the peak, there was something like, I think, 1.65, 1.66 million people that were claiming the job seeker benefit. If you look at the latest stats, there's about 109,000 people that are physically claiming or being supported by the wage subsidy. Right, so the numbers have come well down. Have we seen job seeker numbers skyrocket north? The answer is no. Are they still heading north? The answer is yes, but in a pretty slow, gradual fashion. So if we look at the numbers last week, about another 1,000, 1,500 people additional claiming the job seeker benefit. Where we're seeing most of that deterioration in Auckland. So Auckland's about 1/3 of the economy. We're seeing about 35 to 40% of the uplift in job seeker numbers are actually coming through Auckland. Why? Because Auckland's one of the weakest parts of New Zealand. If you look at places such as Taranaki, Central North Island, job seeker numbers are still up, but they're up by a far smaller magnitude. So actually some of the regions out there across New Zealand at the moment are actually still doing okay. In fact, some regions, it'll be interesting to see when we get into horticulture season next year, because they're going to be screaming out for staff.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned wage subsidy. So your view on these companies that took the wage subsidy but are now actually doing quite well?
Yeah, you're starting to see this is becoming somewhat political.
Yeah.
And, look, everybody knows I got out there and I had a pop at a few organisations, right, that I thought, come on, I thought they were taking the mickey a little bit, right? Yeah, they were like, a couple of red meat companies, and I won't name these specifics in regard to who the companies sort of were, but look, credit where credit's due. The government did the right thing with the wage subsidy. They went big, they went hard, they made it accessible. So if you're a business and you're not quite sure what's going on, but the news is all bad, by hell, you're going to take that money because you want to, the subsidy was there to protect jobs. So no one, I think, is going to bemoan these organisations that actually took the cash because it was a way of protecting the economy, protecting people. But now what's starting to come out is a couple of things. Look, one, there were some entities in some sectors who took the money and some that didn't. So obviously some entities had a different compass to others. Yeah, some companies thought, well, I might be taking a hit, but in the overall spirit of things, I'm still making money. So I don't think it feels correct for me to take that cash. So I'm not going to take it. Whereas other companies did. Well, and secondly, you've seen for a lot of sectors, the downturn was bad for some, but it wasn't bad for all. And now we're starting to see some interesting things in regard to the reported profit numbers are starting to come through. And ironically, some companies are reporting a higher dividend. I've talked to a couple of meetings and I've talked to them and said, look out, don't go questioning the CEOs. Start asking questions of the board members. Because to me, this is a question of ethics. There's what you are technically entitled to do versus actually what is the right thing to do. One of the things I did and 4 to 5 months ago, I sent out a cheeky note, and I won't name names, but I tweeted, to the supermarkets, could you please name the lamb or the steak that is being produced by these entities because they're not collecting the wage subsidy, and I'd like to support them as opposed to the others. So ultimately, these entities have engaged in the court of public opinion because it's all coming out now.
Yeah. Hey, so the Reserve Bank of New Zealand is obviously they are encouraging people to borrow and do things because obviously credit is the lifeblood that pumps through the economy's veins, as it were. What does the latest credit data actually show when it comes to that?
Well, it's not just the credit data, it's credit data relative to deposit data because it's two sides of the bank balance sheets. Right, so you cut interest rates, you're telling people to get up there and save less and spend more. What are we seeing? People are saving more and spending less. So deposit data is actually moving up at a faster rate than lending data. But what's also going on is if you look at the lending data, we're seeing a bit of particularly in the month of August, we've just seen, housing credit stuff has popped up again. No surprises in that because the housing market's been off to the races. But we're starting to see the real productive parts of the economy, the business sector, the agriculture sector. Credit growth is coming back. Now, you can understand some of the reasons for that. Why? Because there's more economic risk and banks are being more cautious, cash flow-based lending, volatility around your business model. But I sit there and I think about, more money on houses and less money into the real productive sector of the economy. Not exactly where we want to be heading, but that's precisely where we're heading. And it's a short-term play as opposed to sitting there and think about what do we actually need going forward.
I think we've had a chat about this before, but where do you see the big opportunities for New Zealand as we rebuild this economy? Is it tech? Is Judith Collins going on about having lots of jobs in high tech? She got a point there. The green economy, obviously.
Tech's got potential, but I guess the way I think about things is through a pretty simple lens, right? You got to sit there and think about it. If you've got a business that's going to aspire to do well, you've got to sit back and think about, what do you have that's unique? What do you have that's special? Right? What is your business proposition that means people are going to come to you as opposed to go to someone else?
Yes.
Now, ultimately that comes back down to natural resources, extraordinary people, extraordinary infrastructure, or something that you can point to that is fundamentally different. So if I have a look at New Zealand, for instance, what do we have? We're actually the wealthiest country around the globe. In fact, we're either number one or number two. I can't remember which one we are, on a per capita basis in regard to renewable resources. This is the stuff that self-generates, stuff like water. That's like our pure gold. Now, the big issue we've got is how the hell do we harness it and unleash it going forward? We've got a helplessly big economic exclusive zone. What does that mean? What does that mean for aquaculture, these sort of industries? Your tech can be a part of it and that sort of stuff, and we're starting to see some real good things in that industry. But I sit back and think, is that really going to be the big economic engine in New Zealand? Unless we create something really special around it, that means we're just the place to be. Now, maybe Sanctuary New Zealand might accelerate that, where we get these highly capable people just decide to come down here in New Zealand and they just want to launch their businesses because they all want out of the United States. There's probably a card to play, and we've got 3 to 6 months to play that. But I come back to basics and think about any business model, you've got to ask yourself, what do you have that's special? What is unique? And you wrap everything around that and you drive it like hell.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what do you think of this whole Donald Trump off to hospital with the coronavirus? Can we talk about that, or is that not really your domain?
No, we can talk about it. My kids are having a good old laugh in the car. We discussed it. My 11-year-old was just like, she looked up the headline and she read it, and she was winning herself.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible.
But she was just absolutely. This is just the funny thing. She's looking at me, Daddy. He's got a corona here. It's like, yes, he has, right? So even the kids are realising, right?
I know. And I mean, you want to wish anybody who's got it a healthy, big recovery and everything. But you can have two positions in life. You can still go, the guy's still a friggin' idiot. I mean, that whole administration, they are so arrogant and so arrogance, probably the word that springs to mind.
There's a commentator out, and he's quite a well-known guy in the United States, and he had the one liner the other night. There'll be more COVID cases in the White House than what they have in the entire country of New Zealand.
I love it. I absolutely love it. No, it's like I watch a bit of CNN. Of course, they can't stand him, and it's like they're trying to be. We wish the president well, but you can see that at every opportunity they're going, and they're actually showing footage of that gig that they had in the Rose Garden. And what's her name? Kellyanne, who was the mouthpiece for him. They've got a shot of her talking to Barr and mingling, and none of them have got any masks on. None of them. And now it's just riddled right throughout the White House. I just think, you guys are so friggin' arrogant. Seriously, unbelievable. It's a great line. More cases than
glass half full. Hat tip to New Zealand. We didn't get things perfect, but we were more perfect than not.
I think you're right. It's hard to argue with that, isn't it? And with that, I think we'll leave it. You have a great week, Cam. You're a bloody legend. Thank you very much for sharing your time and your expertise with us. And I'll catch up with you soon.
Mate, take care. I'll do that phone call into the Hawke's Bay and try to check in for the next game.
Thank you, brother. Good luck.
Cheers,
bye. Okay. So there he goes, Cam Bagrie. What a legend. So at Essential Talent, what do we got? Well, we've got what makes us unique. We've got Cam Bagrie for a start off. Fantastic economist. So what we can do with Cam Bagrie is he can come into your organisation. Might be this year, might be next year, whatever's going to suit you best. He can talk about what's happening and what's likely to happen in your region, what's likely to happen in your industry, where the opportunities are. So you get him along there for the day and he does a chat to your whole staff, right? But you pay the one fee to have him there for the day. So you'll do that with your staff. Then you can bring in your top customers and he can talk to the top customers and share with them what he believes the opportunities are in the region. Then what you could do is you could have like a nice little lunch with some VIP guests. All of a sudden, you've just ticked a whole lot of boxes and you've basically paid Cam Bagrie what you would normally pay a speaker to turn up for an hour, all right? So it's really well worth it. Or alternatively, you could get them doing a virtual, on Zoom or whatever. And so we have actually done a lot of these virtuals. We love doing live this. We really do. We love our speakers getting out there in front of people, our comedians getting out in front of people, our entertainers. That's what we really love. Our MCs. So that's what we're passionate about. However, a lot of people have just naturally defaulted to virtuals, and they've said, "Hey, can you get a speaker to do a virtual for us?" We did something for a city council the other day. There's still this massive need for to help your staff with mental health. Yeah, and I read another article today in the paper about it. I mean, this is a massive thing all around the world. People are under pressure. And forget about Mental Health Awareness Week and just going, oh yeah, we did something for that, and we can tick box and we'll come same time next year. That's just not being responsible, folks. There are people that are really, really suffering out there, and you've got to help your people. They're the most important thing. Your people are the most important thing, because if your people aren't great, the business doesn't run. They don't look after your customers. Even if they're not deliberately, doing that, they're not going to be able to give your customers the best work. So you've got to look after your people. So we've got a whole lot of fantastic speakers. We've got Nigel Latter. We've got Mike King. We've got Dr. Tom Mulholland. We've got Richie Hardcore. We've got all these wonderful, wonderful people. Catherine Newton. Palace Hupe Cotter, Arnie Wilson. Well, all these people in this space that can really help you, really help your people. So I'd really make sure that you're thinking about that, thinking about those opportunities. Then, of course, it's going to be Christmas soon. Let's get everyone together. Let's give them a great night out. We've got fantastic comedians. We've got Brendan Lovegrove. We've got Nigel Rado. We've got all these great people. We just go to the comedians section. Michelle Acourt. Go to the comedians section at essentialtalent.co.nz and book a comedian in for the end of the year. That's us. That's us. Gee, I hope you have a great week. It was a bit of a shitty week for a lot of us last week, because we lost a really, really special person in our lives, Vanessa Mills. Vanessa was just one of those amazing people that you meet in your life, who is just like a ray of sunshine every time you see her. I posted something up the other day. I said, I've never met anyone that says "hello, darling" like Vanessa. She always just the way she delivered it was just so beautiful and so sincere. It was always "hello, darling." Oh, hello, darling. It was just full of love and just "how are you, darling?" And it was just a lovely, lovely person. And so I'm thinking of my mate Darren, and I'm thinking of the Mills girls, and the beautiful grandsons, and I know that all of us are thinking of you, of the wonderful Mills family, and we're here for you. We're here for you, right around the clock, all the time, because Vanessa was just such a beautiful, wonderful person. It was an honour to know her. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful week. Let's go out. Let's get out there and do it. Get out there and do it. No excuses. Come on. All right. See you later.